Hey class, this is a quick video going over submitting your interactive self-portrait. I did a recording of this in class, but the recording kind of crashed in the middle, so I'm just redoing it at home so you can review it or if you missed the class session. So what I want to do is take my interactive self-portrait and just do some documentation and post it on the Open Lab. This is pretty similar to how we've done it before, but I just wanted to go over just go over adding the video. Since it is interactive, we do want to show that interaction. So there's a couple ways we can do that. So I'm going to go over to my editor and I've got my self-portrait ready to go. You can see I've got it running here. And so I can still use screenshots. I'm going to take a couple screenshots just to kind of show how the self-portrait works. And then I can also record a video. So remember, one thing we want for the self-portrait is some instructions. So if you haven't added that in yet, you can add it as text inside of your canvas, or you can go over to your HTML. So I'm going to go to my HTML and just add in a paragraph. And for this one, it's pretty simple, but I just want to let the user know that it is interactive. So I'm going to say, move your mouse to make my self-portrait talk. And he's not really talking, but there's like he moves his mouth a little bit. So that just gives the user some instructions. And it's hard to see this because the text is black on a dark background because I have the high contrast mode on. And so if I want to fix that, I could change the style, but I can also go to style.css. Maybe I'll just change the background. So I can change the background of my whole sketch. Maybe I'll use a light color, like light blue. And so there we go. We can see the text. And if I want to add some more styling, I could make the font bigger. So I could say, font size is 2em, just do some basic CSS. That's a little too big. Let's say 20 pixels. So I can change some CSS in there, but I don't need to. It kind of depends on what you can see here. So that looks good enough. And so now I want to do some documentation. I'm going to go to sketch.js and I'm going to take some screenshots. So what I can do here is add in my mouse pressed function again. And remember, I can just say save and then the file that I want to save. So I'm going to say self-portrait, or let's say interactive self-portrait.jpg. And so now if I click, you can see it's going to save a little image, and I'll move the mouse around and save a few different versions. So the other thing that I can do is record a video, and there's different ways to do that. I'm going to show a quick way to do it, but I'm on the PC and I'm going to use the Xbox game bar. And since we're not live in class, you won't be able to see this because my screen recording is not going to record the Xbox game bar because it's an overlay. So there's a couple YouTube videos. This YouTube video will actually show you how to use the Xbox game bar to record a window. And this is another video that will show you how to do it on Mac. And it just uses free software. You don't really need to download anything for either of these videos. So I will link to those in the video description. And what I want to do is actually get my full screen view for this project. So I'm going to go to share and copy this full screen, or I can just open it in a new tab. And so here we can see the whole project by itself, and I can make this a little bit smaller. So I have a smaller video. And it looks like since I'm clicking, it's saving a window, but that's okay. And I actually need to save my code. I forgot to save my code. So let's make sure the code is saved. And now if I reload, we can see the sketch working. And so if I want to make a recording of that, I have to have this window selected. And then what I'm going to do is hit Windows G, and that's going to bring up the game bar. You're not going to see this in the recording, but you can look at the video that I sent to get a sense of how this works. And there's a couple options here. I'm just going to turn off my voice audio. I don't need to record that. And then there's a big record button under capture. So I'm going to click record and then click back on my project. And I'm just going to kind of move the mouse around just to show the interaction. And once I get enough of that to kind of show in my post, I'm going to stop the recording. And then if I go back to the Xbox game bar, I hit Windows G, there's a little button that says show all captures in your capture menu. And that's going to bring up a window of your capture gallery. And there's a button that looks like a folder at the top of that gallery that says Open in File Explorer. If you click on that and click Continue, it's going to go to this folder here, which you should now be able to see on the screen. And you can see the video I made down here. There's some other stuff in here that I've captured from other stuff I was working on. But you can see the name of the Chrome browser here, Self-Portrait with Interaction Copy. And so I've got that in my Captures folder. And then if I open up another File Explorer, I'm going to open up my Downloads folder. Now I can see the images that I also captured for the self-portrait. Let's look at some icons. So now we have two different types of media, and this is cool for documentation because we can show the user what our project looks like when we're actually interacting with it, but we can also have still images that could be used to share or create a thumbnail or do other things like that. So that could be pretty useful. So let's post this. I'm going to go over to the Open Lab and go to the 210 page. And I'm already logged in, so I can see this plus button. If you don't see that, you need to log in. I'm going to create a new post. And I'm going to choose a category, assignment 3, interactive self-portrait. Say my interactive self-portrait. And then to add the video, I'm going to need to use the plus block and search for a video box. So here's a video. I just typed in video and I can click on that. And then I can actually drag my video on here, or I can click upload and find it. So the video is under documents, I think. Or captures. Okay, so there's my captures. So I can click open and now we can see the video right there. So that looks pretty good. I can add a caption here, so I can say video documentation. And of course I can add some information. So I can say, here's my self-portrait. The user can interact by moving their mouse. So just describe a little bit of what's happening in your project and how the user interacts. And of course I want to link to it. So I can say here, my code, and then I'm just going to grab the link to the original self-portrait and paste that in there. And I don't want to embed this. I'm just going to say convert to link, and I can click on the link to open a new tab. So that looks good. And now I can also add in my still images. So I could go back to captures, go back to my File Explorer and go to downloads. And let's take a look at these again. So I'll start with the one that's kind of in the middle. And then I'll use the one that's off to this side. And then let's use the one that's off to this side. So we have a couple different forms of documentation. We can see kind of a close-up of what's happening in the project, as well as view the interactive version. So that's pretty cool for our users. And so once I'm happy with all of that, I'm just going to preview, make sure everything looks okay. And that looks pretty good. And then I'll just go ahead and publish. And of course, this is the link that you will upload to Blackboard. So you can click View Post and grab the link from there, or you can just click the copy button. Although now that I've clicked on it, it's gone, but you can just, there's a copy button there, or you can just grab the link that comes up here. And remember, if you need to edit to change anything, if you're logged in, there's an edit button right here, and you can click edit and return to this post and change anything that you need to change. So I think that's everything that we need to go over. Let me know if you have any questions when you are uploading. Let me know if you have any questions when you are submitting your self-portrait.